You know what? I guarantee that there are a lot of people not as sympathetic as myself that go in there and probably get very frustrated with this fact, and probably makes them feel a little crappy for living in this country and not being able to speak the language that's common amongst all the people here, at least the majority. You know, I mean, I just like to look at it in such a way that a lot of people are squinting their eyes like, wow, how can you have any sympathy for a murderer? Well,
no, that's not what we're squinting about.
Yeah.
What is it exactly?
The colonial crap that's coming out of your mouth.
No, it's the fact that. Well, I'm just trying to understand because you guys are expressing some. I just don't like the fact that, I mean, as much as I was part of that march and I was very much a part of it, I went there and I did everything. You know, it was a major part of it. Carried a sign that someone else made. It said "Red Power" on it. I am clearly white. I carried it anyway. Okay. Not to prove a point that I'm some sort of activist, but the fact that I actually was there to support the cause and the fact that we need to restore order and balance. It wasn't a matter of Native American people or Aboriginal people or anything like that overpowering white supremacy or something like that. It was a matter of restoring order, and the fact that the power was in our numbers as a group. It was the fact that we were standing for something as a group, and that was the Aboriginal people.
But you know, I don't disagree with you that that people, like, I don't know, people make mistakes, but usually people are held accountable for mistakes that they make.
Absolutely.
And it seems in this case that there is not going to be accountability in that regard. So I don't care, what who this fellow is.
Oh yeah.
And I believe that people can be redeemed as well. I know people that have murdered people. They're wonderful people. That's not the point. The point is about accountability.
He would
stop interrupting.
He would have got rehabilitation had it not been for the fact that the person who witnessed fled the scene, and they may have well paid him off to do so. But that's the thing. Like, justice wasn't a matter of him being a criminal and just wanting to get out of this without any, legal recourse. The fact of the matter is that the circumstances were which that he just did not get any legal recourse. Because of circumstance, not because of him or the fact that he's evil or something silly like that. I mean, like, if the witnesses were present and were actually able to hold accountable and were actually able to testify, then this would have gone differently, very differently.
You're arguing a straw man. Nobody here has said that he's evil.
No, but it's just that the fact that we alienated him today and we surrounded his very place of work and held signs and yelled while he barricaded himself inside. I'm sorry, but if I was ever put in a position like that, I would pretty much find a knife and I would probably want to kill myself. That sounds like a pretty terrible position to be put in. And that's not exactly maybe the way we need to be putting this. Like, I mean, I understand that raising awareness and blocking traffic and marching and saying, look, this is the name of a person that we need to take a note of because this circumstance is unjust. But I don't think that that's necessarily the best way to go about it considering the circumstances.
But who makes it unjust? Does that man or does our law? Like, are we to be going after that man? Is he the one that makes it unjust? Like, yes, he did that because of rage and because of whatever reason. Do you really think that he was out to kill a person that morning, or he was just out to run his business? Things happen. But who is the one that made the justice and served the justice? I mean, that is the one to be targeted, not
May I address your question? Because that's the question that needs to be answered. We live in a racist society. Anybody that denies it is not looking around. Our native population will tell you that, but so will all the immigrant population. And whenever you have a racist society, you always have the dispossessed fighting and attacking and fighting amongst the other dispossessed. And you always get the people who don't have legal or status as the people being taken advantage of. In Black America, the lighter blacks preyed on the darker blacks because that's the way racism works. It's a power over, as this lady was saying, system, and it just filters down the power over the powerless and the powerless over the even less powerless. And that's who's to blame. It's our society and the leaders in our society and our white population came from Europe that has not recognized that we brought all sorts of very poor concepts of getting along together. We come from all us whites come from one of the most war-torn parts of the world where war happened for hundreds and hundreds of years. And that was the solution to everything. Over here, it wasn't quite like that. Not as institutionalized. But we do live in a very racist society, so when you have things like this Korean fellow picking up and killing this native lady, it's only a responsibility of the society as a whole, which is not being led right now by anybody who really cares a damn for any of the dispossessed. And that's why we're all here, because it's the same problem economically, it's the same problem socially, and it's the same problem racially in our society. And that's why this is such a powerful movement all over the world. And this is why we're here, because all these, sorry, not little, I didn't mean little, but all these individual problems come from the same sources. They come from the racist society we live in, they come from the elitist economic system we live in, and many other sources. But I think you're right, it's not the Korean man's fault, although individually it is. It's the fault of our leadership in our society right now, which is vacant of anything called morality or leadership. The last people we had in Canada with anything like that was Tommy Douglas, and the fellow who's speaking in Toronto next month, who is with the UN for many years. You know, our envoy leader.
Other icon.
we have some good leaders, but not right now. And I really do believe the answer is top-down problem.
I believe part of the solution in that is the grassroots up as well. And I thank the sister for coming and speaking, because I think decolonization, just to start in our minds, to break the apartheid system, is to get to know each other. And I sincerely thank you for your time tonight.